All right, so I'm going to look at some methods that are for working with strings. These are just some basic methods that are incorporated into JavaScript to do some common, return some values or do some common tasks necessary or used with strings. Okay, so first off, I got some quotes in here again with our two forward slashes. These are single line quotes. I'm defining a variable called text1, which holds the name remote sensing applications. To get the length of a string, you can call the dot length property here. So let's actually go ahead and run this so we can see all of our outputs. So I'm going to do Control S here and then run. Okay, so the output here for the length is 27. So if we count these out, you actually see that that incorporates both it incorporates both the actual characters and also counts the spaces. So spaces count, right? So let me just show you that again down here real quick. We'll just put this down here. So if I did something like, I'm just going to put in a bunch of spaces. So we'll do a bunch of spaces, B. Oh, this is already defined up there. Let me just call this text2. And same here. So now if I run this, I get back 22 as opposed to 2 because, again, it's counting all those empty spaces there as components. All right, so in short, dot length called on a string object will return the length of the string. Okay, this dot replace method allows you to replace a component of a string with something else. So here I'm going to replace applications with app. And if we print that, we get remote sensing app as opposed to remote sensing applications. So we replace this with this. So it's kind of like a find replace if you're used to using that like in a text editor or in Microsoft Word or something. Split is kind of interesting. So with split, we basically tell it that we want to split the components of the string into elements in an array, and then we tell it what we want to split it on. So basically, every time there's a space, it's going to split it and create a new element in an array. So in this case, the output's actually going to be an array. So you can see that here, we're splitting on our blank spaces, and you can see we get an element with an array with 3 elements, indexes 0, 1, 2. Note also that it didn't include those blank spaces. So those are factored out. So if we change this, we could do something like, I'm just going to put in, let's do E, because there's a couple of those. So Control S, and then, okay, so now we can see that it split that every time there was an E, and the E's weren't included in the output, and again, the output is an array. So we'll kick that back to a blank space. If we try to split it on something that doesn't exist, so let's see, there's no Z, so let's put in a Z there. So again, we'll save and then rerun this. It just gives us back the entire string again, but it's still an array. It's just an array with one element. Okay, so that's that. This is for converting to uppercase. So this dot to uppercase method applied to the string will convert the string to all uppercase. And again, we can already see that over here. All right, and then this slice, what that does is it slices out a portion of a string using the indexes. So right now I'm exporting out sensing, right? So let's see if that makes sense. So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The space is 6, so we're starting at 7. So this is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then the next space is 14, so it doesn't include the last index. So from this index up to 14, but not including 14, and again, indexing starts at 0. So that's slicing out a part of an array, and you can see that returns a string there, in this case slicing out a portion of a string, and it returns back a string object as opposed to like an array object. There's a lot of other methods that can be used on strings. I provide some other examples in the slides, and if you want to look up other examples, W3 Schools is a good resource. So this is just showing some general syntax for dealing with strings.